And these players were back. We're back here in this game. This is a King of the Hill. Doppler is the challenger. Aikmil is the King of the Hill currently. He took down Nerzel last game. And our current longest reigning champion is Lunatone with, I think, with 5 games. Winning them back to back to back. Just staying as the King of the Hill. He's been the longest reigning king, I guess, of this game. We'll see if anyone else is able to, probably not. Probably won't be able to replicate just because it's getting a little bit late. There's a lot of games going up, and it'll also depend on my hard drive space, which is going to be running out shortly. Spawning pool is coming up for Doppler. We'll see if he's able to take down the current king. There's a drone getting smashed by that Marine. There's another barracks. Another factory coming up for Aikmil. We'll see if it decides to do some Hellion harass, maybe get a Hellion drop into the main and deal the pain. Doppler here getting a spine crawler preemptively, just in case of any pushing by his Terran opponent. Here come the drones, gonna start mining at this expansion. The queen is still on the way in the main. We'll see when she decides to pop out onto the map. There is a Overlord spotting for expansion timing over here as well. There's an Overlord giving good sight to these rocks. These rocks can be quite annoying in the later parts of the game. More drones should be on the way shortly, as soon as he can get enough money for it. And there's the queen now hatching out at the natural expansion, immediately vomiting that larva. That queen was born sick. There's more drones being produced. A couple of Zerglings are in the queue to be able to help spot for what's going on. There is a command center in Aikmil's main. We've seen in the GSL where people get a couple of command centers really fast and just use the mules to just completely mine out an expansion instantaneously, make a huge ball of units and just attack. And it actually works. So we'll see if Aikmil decides to adopt some strategy like that, or if his Zerg opponent is going to out-macro him in the long term. Here come the few Zerglings are going to be advancing forward. The Zergling speed upgrade has also been started. Tech Lab coming up on this factory will allow him to get siege tanks, a key unit, and there is the Banshee is going to get Cloak. Probably not. He doesn't have saved enough money for that. He's just going to get a Banshee to do some harassment and hope he can pick off a couple of drones while the queens are out of position. A lair is coming up as well as another extractor. The extractors at his natural expansion not quite getting taken yet. More Zerglings being spawned. We'll see what kind of strategy Doppler decides to adopt in order to advance and become the new King of the Hill. And there's an Overlord spotting in this direction. Banshee has now spawned, is going to go do some scouting out on the map, but we do have to keep in mind that if a Zerg decides to go for any Mutalisks, the Banshee will be completely null and void. Take a look at the units counting tab right now. We've got 1 Siege Tank, 1 Banshee, 9 Marines, up to 12 Zerglings, and 30 drones. There are just 3 more drones than SCVs as of the moment, and Aikmil has still not opted to send the command center out just yet. He's getting additional unit producing structures, more Marines spawning right now. Let's go back to production. The siege mode is on the way, very powerful against those Zerglings and Banelings. Doesn't know much of what's going on right now. There's that Banshee coming in and he's going to be doing some damage over here. It does have 3 kills already. There's a queen coming over here, going to be taking a couple shots off at that Banshee. Banshee is going to be moving over here, going to do some nice micro here. See if he can pick off another move before moving out of there. 4 kills on that Banshee. It's going to back up and get a nice repair when it gets back home. An Overlord over here giving spotting action. There's another one over here doing the spotting action in the space. Maybe the Overlord could get a little bit closer to spot for any expansion, to spot the expansion timing a little bit better, and also maybe spot for some attack timings. and there come a bunch of SCV advancing over to the natural expansion. Gonna be beginning mining there real soon, and here come the Zerglings advancing forward. There's that one Banshee gonna be continuing to deal some damage. Shanks are sieging up over here. The Zerglings do back out just in time. Losing those Zerglings would have been disastrous for Doppler. Looks like 8mil is opting never mind. I thought he was queuing a bunch of SCVs in there. He's got his engineering bay up. We'll be able to defend against Mutalisks should they come. He's got an idle SCV here. Send him back to work. Idle SCVs are not good. A reactor is coming up on this barracks. We'll be able to churn out additional Marines at an accelerated rate. Looks like centrifugal hooks is almost complete for our Zerg player. Stim pack is halfway done for our Terran player, and the Zerglings are going to be swinging over here, and the Marines are trying to take down that Overlord. Can they do it? The Overlord is trying to back out as quickly as possible. Looks like the Marines are now out of range, unable to do that. Zerg is going to preemptively start picking off these back rocks. We're going to experience some lag. These back rocks might go down, and that'll prevent this expansion from being as safe as 8mil would like it to be later on in the game. Banshee continuing to do some harassment. Going to be driving those Zerglings back to make sure he doesn't lose that many Zerglings. Infantry weapons, a +1 is on the way. The Zerg melee attacks level 1 is also under the research. You can even get some carapace upgrades to make those Zerglings a little bit more resilient to marine fire. There's the Banshee continuing to advance back and forth. It's well paid for itself with its scouting information and with the harassment that it has dealt to our Zerg player. And 8mil looks like he's going to continue producing some Marines. Medevacs are also out on the field and are on the way right now. That Banshee is leading the way, going to be engaging over here. The Zerglings advancing forward, the Marines stimming back, and the Banelings advancing forward. Can they hit the Marines? No, they don't. The Marines are still alive and well. The two Siege Shanks taking out a bunch of Zerglings and Banelings, and more reinforcements are moving forward. Doppler is in a lot of trouble right now. He's got to produce a lot more Zerglings, a lot more Banelings to hold this off. And here comes 8mil advancing forward, going to be sieging up his tanks and advancing his Marines forward. Those are the Banelings over here. Are they going to spawn in time? Going to be moving forward, and the Banelings get a bunch of kills. All the Marines going down, but the Siege Shanks still hold the line. Can he reinforce this quickly enough? A command center is going down right now. More Banelings are being morphed right now. More Zerglings in the production queue. Can the Doppler hold this off? He can take this if he can nibble this force away, 8mil might be in a lot of trouble. He's streaming more reinforcements out of his base. Losing those Marines was a huge deal. If he had not lost those Marines, Doppler would be in a lot more trouble as of the moment. However, the Zerglings are swinging over here, going to be able to delay this expansion at least, force it to cancel. Looks like 8mil is building up quite a bit of money. It looks like he's going to be forced to cancel this expansion. There's the cancel. He's going to be sieging up at the center of this map again. Doppler finally grabbing his third expansion is going to be able to take that slightly ahead of the Terran player. This Siege Shank just spawning and getting 6 kills already. Another factory coming up for 8mil. When will he decide to push again? He's probably going to wait for a much larger force of tanks so that he can be ensured that the Banelings do not hit his siege tank, do not hit his Marines. You want the Banelings to hit your siege tanks. It takes a million Banelings to kill a siege tank. And there's the command center going down in a slightly safer spot. More Marines being spawned right now. A siege tank being left behind to guard against any Zergling run-bys. And here we have an engagement. Looks like the Zerglings are advancing forward. None of the tanks are sieged, but it does look like the Stim Pack does allow the Terran player to take down the vast majority of those siege tanks. Here come all of the Marines, and the siege tanks are also moving forward. Can he take down Doppler? The Banelings are over here. More Zerglings are being morphed. If those Banelings get down really good splashes, the Terran player would be in a huge amount of trouble. Here come the Zerglings advancing forward. Stim pack going down. The Marines are all crowded up. Here come the Banelings rolling forward. He's going to be taking out all of the Marines again, except for those 8 who are lucky enough to be able to load into that medevac. Good micro by 8mil, being able to save at least some of his Marines, and because he's able to do that, it's going to depend on just these few Banelings, and the Siege Shanks are sieging up over here. Another Siege Shank in the backside, just making sure those banelings are just going to be very hard to hit those Marines. And here, Doppler's just can't really engage this. He's going to lose his hatchery. The drone's moving forward, and it looks like GG for Doppler. 8mil maintains his crown and is still king of the hill.